Alright, so we're about to go over a lot of vocab, and we'll kind of write out what it means and draw a picture for each one. So first we have something called an arc. An arc of a circle is on the edge of a circle. And it's basically a portion of the circle. So if I were to go to draw an arc, it would just be, let's say, maybe this portion. And arcs can be different lengths. So an arc is part of the circle that's on the edge. Alright, central angle. I feel like we may have talked about this in another video, but we'll go over it again. Central angle is an angle where the vertex is at the center of the circle. Alright, so drawing that in, basically it's any angle where you have the center of your circle and then just some angle. So this is a central angle right there. Alright, so we have an arc, we have a central angle. Let's move on to the next one. A minor arc, so what the minor does is, an arc is going to be on the edge of your circle. It's basically a portion of your circle, but minor tells you how big it is. So we want to think small when we see that. It's going to be an arc that is less than 180. So if I were to trace along the circle, from here all the way around one full time, that's 360. So it makes sense to say from here to here, half of the circle is 180. So we're talking about an arc that is less than that. So, it could go maybe like that. That is less than 180. A major arc is going to be bigger. We see the word major, so we want to think bigger. That's going to be greater than 180. So again, we said 180 was half of it, so it's going to be more than that. So if I go more than half, it could look something like that. That's an example of a major arc. Then we have something called a semicircle. You guys have heard this before. Semicircle is where it equals 180. And when we draw that, that is going to be exactly half of the circle. That's 180. And it could be, anywhere on the circle, but that equals 180. So it is a very specific type of arc because we know exactly what the measurement is. So congruent arcs will just be arcs that have the same measure. They can be in the same circle or congruent circles. So, if I were to just draw an example, let's say this arc is congruent to this arc, they would have the same measure. Both of those arcs would be 90, by the way, in case you were curious. But arcs can be congruent either in the same circle. Maybe I could draw here's another arc. That one is congruent also to the two that I already drew. So they can be in the same circle like that, or they can be in congruent circles. Alright, so this next slide says the sum of all central angles of a circle is how many degrees? So let's look at what we're talking about. Here's the center of our circle. If I were to draw in central angles, so let's say here's a central angle. Well, here's another one, and here's another one. I'm just kind of drawing really any of these. Here's another one, and then we've got that last one. You can kind of see if you were to add up all of these angles, you see how even as I'm drawing around, it's forming a full circle. So that's an easy way to remember that the sum of all the central angles of a circle is 360 degrees. Alright, the sum of all arcs in a circle. So I can let me just draw two. Let's say I draw this one. We know that that's 180 degrees. And if I draw another one, oops, that's 180 degrees. And if you add those up, you do get 360 degrees for the sum of all the arcs of the circle. So central angles and arcs will add up to 360 degrees around the entire circle.